The Gulf Coast of Texas, with its wide-open skies and sleepy coastal towns, has long been a place of quiet beauty. Boca Chica Village, a stone's throw from the Mexican border, was the epitome of this tranquil existence. A place where time seemed to move slowly, dictated by the rhythms of the sea and the comings and goings of fishermen. Then came SpaceX. Drawn by the promise of wide-open spaces and a business-friendly environment, Elon Musk's space exploration company set up shop in Boca Chica in 2014. Their mission to build a launch site for the most ambitious rocket ever conceived, Starship, designed to take humans to Mars and beyond. What was once a sleepy village was now on the front lines of a new space race. The arrival of SpaceX was a seismic event for Boca Chica. The sleepy village found itself at the epicenter of a technological revolution, its destiny forever intertwined with Musk's interplanetary ambitions. The company's presence brought jobs, investment, and a level of attention this remote corner of Texas had never seen. But this sudden transformation has not been without its growing pains. As SpaceX's presence has grown, so too have tensions with longtime residents. The company's ambitious plans have raised concerns about the environmental impact of rocket launches, the changing character of their community, and the implications of living in the shadow of a company town built on the dreams of reaching for the stars. SpaceX's arrival in Boca Chica was marked by a flurry of activity. The once quiet landscape was transformed as construction crews broke ground on a sprawling launch facility. Towering structures of steel and concrete rose from the scrubland, a testament to Musk's ambition to build a launch site capable of sending humans to Mars. The company's presence was not just physical, it was also felt in the economic arteries of the region. The sleepy town of Brownsville, the closest urban center to Boca Chica, saw an influx of SpaceX employees, engineers, and contractors. Hotels were fully booked, restaurants were bustling, and the real estate market was rejuvenated as SpaceX's presence rippled through the local economy. The company's promise of high-paying jobs was a beacon of hope in a region grappling with economic stagnation. SpaceX's investment in Boca Chica extended beyond the launch site. The company poured resources into local infrastructure, improving roads, expanding utilities, and building new facilities to support its growing workforce. Musk envisioned a self-sustaining city of the future, a hub of innovation and technological prowess rising from the Texas coast. As Starship prototypes began to take shape, so too did a sense of awe and wonder. The sight of these towering rockets gleaming under the Texas sun drew space enthusiasts and tourists alike. Boca Chica was no longer an obscure dot on the map. It was becoming synonymous with humanity's next giant leap, a symbol of our collective ambition to explore the cosmos. Elon Musk envisioned more than just a launch site in Boca Chica. He envisioned a city of the future, a place where the brightest minds could live, work, and breathe space exploration. This vision began to take concrete form with the push to incorporate Boca Chica Village into a new municipality, Starbase, Texas. The move was classic Musk, bold, ambitious, and not without its share of controversy. The proposed city of Starbase would encompass not just the SpaceX launch site but also the surrounding residential areas. Proponents of the incorporation argued that it would give residents more control over their destiny, allowing them to shape the development of their community and benefit directly from SpaceX's success. They painted a picture of a futuristic city, a beacon of innovation and technological progress. For SpaceX, the incorporation of Starbase offered the allure of greater autonomy. It would give the company more control over local ordinances, zoning regulations, and building permits, streamlining its operations and reducing bureaucratic hurdles. Moreover, it would provide access to state and federal funding opportunities often available to incorporated municipalities. However, the proposal to create Starbase was met with mixed reactions from Boca Chica's residents. While some welcomed the prospect of living in a city at the forefront of space exploration, others expressed concerns about SpaceX's growing influence and the potential loss of their community's unique character. The vote on whether to incorporate would be a referendum not just on the creation of a new city, but also on the future of Boca Chica and its relationship with SpaceX. SpaceX's arrival in Boca Chica brought with it the promise of economic revitalization. The company's insatiable appetite for skilled labor created a surge in job opportunities in a region hungry for investment. Welders, engineers, technicians, and construction workers flocked to Boca Chica, drawn by the allure of high-paying jobs and the opportunity to be part of something historic. The economic impact of SpaceX's presence extended far beyond the gates of the launch site. Local businesses in Brownsville and surrounding areas experienced a boom as SpaceX employees spent their paychecks on housing, food, entertainment, and other goods and services. Hotels reported full occupancy, restaurants were packed, and the real estate market saw property values soar. SpaceX's commitment to fostering a local workforce was evident in its partnerships with educational institutions. The company collaborated with local community colleges and technical schools to develop training programs tailored to the specific skills required for its operations. This investment in education and workforce development was seen as a long-term strategy to create a sustainable talent pipeline for SpaceX's future endeavors. The economic benefits of SpaceX's presence in Boca Chica were undeniable. The company's arrival had breathed new life into a region struggling with unemployment and economic stagnation. However, this influx of wealth and opportunity also brought with it challenges, as the rising tide of prosperity did not lift all boats equally. Section 5. Local anxieties, a changing landscape. While SpaceX's arrival brought undeniable economic benefits to Boca Chica, it also brought anxieties about the changing character of the community. Longtime residents, many of whom had called this quiet corner of Texas home for generations, watched as their sleepy village underwent a rapid transformation. The influx of newcomers, drawn by the allure of SpaceX, led to a surge in housing demand, driving up rents and property values. Some residents, particularly those on fixed incomes or who had rented their homes for years, found themselves priced out of the community they had always known. The affordability crisis fueled concerns that Boca Chica was becoming a company town, catering to the needs of SpaceX and its workforce, while pushing out longtime residents who could no longer afford to stay. Beyond the economic anxieties, there were cultural concerns as well. The once tranquil rhythms of life in Boca Chica were disrupted by the constant hum of activity at the SpaceX facility. The influx of new residents, with their diverse backgrounds and lifestyles, brought a new cultural dynamic to the close-knit community. While some welcomed the diversity, others worried about the erosion of their community's unique identity. The rapid pace of change fueled a sense of unease among some longtime residents. They felt like they were losing their community, their sense of place, and their voice in the face of SpaceX's growing influence. The push to incorporate as Starbase only amplified these anxieties, as it raised questions about who would truly benefit from the community's transformation. Section 6. The Battle for Boca Chica Beach. One of the most contentious issues surrounding SpaceX's presence in Boca Chica has been the issue of public beach access. Boca Chica Beach, a pristine stretch of coastline renowned for its natural beauty, has long been a cherished public resource, drawing tourists and locals alike to its sandy shores and clear waters. However, SpaceX's launch operations necessitate closures of the beach and surrounding areas for safety reasons. These closures, while necessary during launches, have become increasingly frequent as SpaceX ramps up its testing and launch cadence. What were once occasional inconveniences have become a source of frustration for residents and visitors who feel like they are being denied access to a public resource. The closures have also had economic consequences for local businesses that rely on tourism, particularly those catering to beachgoers. SpaceX has argued that the closures are essential for public safety, as rocket launches involve inherent risks. The company has pointed to the potential for falling debris, loud noises, and other hazards that could pose a threat to anyone in the vicinity of the launch site. They have also emphasized their commitment to minimizing the impact of closures by providing advance notice and working with local authorities to identify alternative beach access points. However, these assurances have done little to quell the concerns of those who view SpaceX's presence as an infringement on their right to enjoy a public beach. The battle over Boca Chica Beach has become a microcosm of the broader tensions between SpaceX, its ambitions to reach for the stars, and the community that finds itself on the front lines of this new space race. Section 7. Political crosscurrents and SpaceX's ambitions. SpaceX's ambitions in Boca Chica have not unfolded in a political vacuum. The company's presence has become intertwined with local, state, and even national political currents, creating a complex web of alliances, opposition, and legislative maneuvering. SpaceX, with its deep pockets and high-profile CEO, has not been shy about leveraging its influence to advance its interests. At the local level, SpaceX has enjoyed significant support from officials eager to reap the economic benefits of the company's presence. Cameron County, where Boca Chica is located, has granted SpaceX generous tax breaks and other incentives to entice the company to invest in the region. However, as SpaceX's footprint has grown, so too have concerns about the company's power and influence over local decision-making. In the Texas State House, SpaceX has lobbied for legislation that would give it greater control over Boca Chica Beach and surrounding areas. The company has sought to limit public access to the beach during launch operations and has pushed for laws that would make it more difficult to challenge its activities on environmental grounds. These efforts have been met with resistance from environmental groups and advocates for public beach access. At the national level, SpaceX has benefited from the generally positive view of space exploration among the American public. The company has cultivated relationships with lawmakers from both parties, securing government contracts and subsidies for its spacefaring endeavors. However, as Elon Musk has become a more polarizing figure in recent years, SpaceX has faced increased scrutiny over its labor practices, environmental record, and overall impact on the communities where it operates. Section 8. A referendum on the future. The vote on whether to incorporate Boca Chica Village as Starbase, Texas, was more than just a procedural matter. It was a referendum on the community's future and its relationship with SpaceX. The campaign leading up to the vote was marked by passionate arguments on both sides, reflecting the deep divisions within the community. Proponents of incorporation, many of whom were SpaceX employees or had benefited economically from the company's presence, argued that it would give residents greater control over their destiny. They envisioned Starbase as a city of the future, a hub of innovation and technological progress, with SpaceX at its heart. They promised improved infrastructure, better services, and a brighter future for all residents. Opponents of incorporation, including many longtime residents, viewed it as a power grab by SpaceX. They feared that the company would use its influence to shape the city's ordinances and regulations to suit its own needs at the expense of residents' quality of life. They worried about the potential for increased traffic, noise pollution, and environmental degradation, as well as the erosion of their community's unique character. The vote itself was close, reflecting the deep divisions within the community. In the end, the pro-incorporation side prevailed, and Boca Chica Village became Starbase, Texas. The outcome was a testament to SpaceX's influence and the allure of its ambitious vision. However, the close vote also served as a warning that the company could not take the support of the community for granted. Section 9. The Company-Town Dilemma in the 21st Century. The emergence of Starbase, Texas, as a modern-day company town has reignited a debate about the role of corporations in society and the delicate balance between economic development and community well-being. Company towns, once a common feature of the American landscape, evoke images of paternalistic industrialists wielding near absolute power over the lives of their workers. While Starbase is a far cry from the company towns of the past, it raises similar questions about the distribution of power, the rights of residents, and the potential for corporate overreach. SpaceX, with its ambitious vision and deep pockets, has become the dominant force in Starbase, shaping its economy, its landscape, and even its political structures. The challenge for Starbase and for other communities grappling with the influence of powerful corporations is to find a way to harness the economic benefits of corporate investment while safeguarding the interests of residents. This requires robust civic engagement, transparent governance, and a willingness to hold corporations accountable for their impact on the community. The story of Starbase is still being written. Whether it becomes a model for a new kind of company town, one that balances corporate interests with community well-being, or a cautionary tale about the perils of unchecked corporate power, remains to be seen. One thing is certain: the eyes of the world are watching as this audacious experiment in corporate urbanism unfolds on the Texas coast.